One, two, three, in the place to be. It is your player partner from the bottom of the map. It's Israel. Um, yeah, I just want to jump in and real quick and do a quick reaction to the Miami Bethune Cookman game. Before I get started, man, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so you can be tuned in anytime one of our video drops. Hit that like button so we continue to grow the channel and share it with your big booty auntie and her friends so they can tune in. Um, Real quick, and this is not going to be long. And we probably got a lot of people who's going to jump on and celebrate, and this is celebratory. Miami blowout win. When I This is almost a game I just scratch off the schedule. Uh, a dominant win doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that we're getting cohesion, and it doesn't mean it honestly, it doesn't mean much because you can play sloppy and still win. You could dominate, and it kind of has no bearing on the team going forward because the level of competition. Um, and by the end of the first half, deep into the third quarter, you're playing all backups. Um, so one thing I'll say is I don't even care. I don't care. This win means nothing. Absolutely nothing. Beating Bethune, we could look at Carson Beck and say, "Oh, his numbers were he only had two incompletions." So what? Um, Emory, I'll say Emory came in the game, and I will say Emory showed me why I like Emory because he's fiery. I kind of like that he's an underdog. He almost reminds me of the kid that the bully tried to bully and he stood up to him and he got everybody's respect by standing up to the bully. Um, he made a couple of throws in the game um, that were like on the money, some deep shots, some passes got dropped. I watched a couple plays where he pulled on the RPO and he's running towards the sideline. He's getting in guys' faces. So um, the defense. mm, Can't say nothing. Bethune Cookman's quarterback, um, he only missed three passes, but they weren't able to get much, in their passing game or their running game, which is expected. Um, they had under 200 yards total, but I did see a couple drives in the third or fourth quarter where they marched right down the field, missed tackles, open holes all over the place. Um, you know, their quarterback able to get loose. Their backup quarterback who came in and was able to, get some yards, ransom, even when our second team is in. But it shouldn't be a drop off from this big of a drop off from first team to second team. Their backup quarterback came in and he was breaking contain. Let me see real quick. Yeah, he had 7.5 yards a carry. Um, so like I said, this game doesn't show me a whole lot. The one thing that probably jumped out to me is, and maybe I'm kind of lost on what's going on with JoJo Trader, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different players catch a pass, and not one name was JoJo Trader. Now, maybe he was on the injured list. I don't know what's going on. Of course, Malachi Tony and CJ Daniels, they were, the leaders in the receiving core. I did see Dylan Upshaw, and we did see, Ray Joseph Scott sighting. We also seen our tight ends, all of them, get in the game and make some contributions. But if you're gonna get on and rant and rave about how Miami looked dominant, and blah 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 blah, you're gonna fool yourself. We do this. I mean, we're supposed to beat these teams. We're supposed to dominate these teams. We're supposed to look flawless against these teams. It doesn't really tell you much a whole lot about your football team. It really doesn't tell you a whole lot. You know what? It showed me something if after the first quarter you give the backups, you give the game to the backups. When the game is in hand, it's already 28-3. The game is pretty much in hand. You're not really you're not really doing a whole lot. You're not really showing a lot of wrinkles. Your defense is just kind of playing base defense. So I'm not impressed by this win at all. Not impressed. Now, which is more pressing because college football is a week to week game, right? Week to week. They came off the high of winning against Notre Dame. You had basically a cupcake. Shout out to Bethune and all the HBCUs who are getting money playing uh, these big D1 schools, FBS schools. Grambling went and got smacked by Ohio State. FAMU, same thing against FAU. Bethune against, so it is what it is when it comes to that. But what I will say is you have to pay attention to the college football landscape. If you're just all about Miami, you get disappointed when they go up against certain teams and they don't look the same way they do against Bethune-Cookman. They look different. All that to say is, if you guys didn't pay attention to the USF Florida game, you better beware. Next week is USF. USF beat Florida today. Florida could not move the ball against USF. USF tempo had Florida, off balance. USF didn't put up huge numbers. The score was 18-16. But the whole point is USF got two big wins in a row. Two big wins in a row. They beat Boise State soundly and beat a Florida team who, was looking like they had some momentum. Their quarterback, Brown, he's a threat. He is a threat. He is a throwing threat. He had 263 yards passing. He also carried the ball 17 times. That is a lot for a quarterback. He carried the ball more than everybody else on their team combined. So their running backs didn't have – he is the running back. He is the running back. They have more passing yards and just about equal amount of rushing yards. USF is a threat. We had a problem with them last year. That tempo is something. What it does is it forces your team to react. It forces your coaches to really be locked in with getting players substituted in and out, calling timeouts, timely timeouts, and time of possession. That is going to be a big thing in that game next week. We also have Florida. Depending on how Florida bounces back, I watched DJ Lagway. They did have some this guy Trey Wilson. This guy Trey Wilson is like their do-it-all guy, a la Percy Harvin. They have him lined up in the backfield, reverses, all the types of things. He's a receiver we're going to have to pay attention to when we play them. DJ Lagway looks, a lot more comfortable at the helm. But being that South Florida is our next game, South Florida is going to be ranked. South Florida is going to come in like, we ain't scared. We were underdogs in 2 games in a row, and we had a dogfight in this Florida game, and they pulled it out. So this is what we have to pay attention to more than gloating about a win over, clearly an overmatched Bethune team. Don't care about the numbers. Don't care about the rushing numbers. Don't really care about don't really care. Because if you can't do it against the big boys, you can't do it against the teams that may not have the same number of 5 stars, or recruits, but they're going to be competitive. This a win like this doesn't mean much. It don't mean much for cohesion. People are gonna say, "Oh, the cohesion and we only gave it 3 points and the offensive line." Like I'm gonna keep pushing this whole year. The difference between Miami and a team like Alabama, right? We want to be on that level of complete dominance. We have the athletes. Is that a coach like Nick Saban doesn't care? He wants perfection week in and week out. He doesn't let you ride the high. So when you get into a real dogfight, you're locked in, right? Basically what you do is you condition your players to we don't celebrate to the end of the season. When we're hoisting that national championship, then we can relax. When we're in that ACC title game, holding that championship, but still, even then, this isn't a time to gloat. This isn't a time to be like riding the high. Carson Beck, this. Um, we could say that the running game looked better. 200 yards rushing, but against what? What was the competition? You should have had 400 yards rushing. If that's the case. Should have had 500 yards rushing. If that's the case, I would, and even a 70 to, if the score was 70-3, I might be a little bit impressed. All right, the guys didn't put they basically stopped them every possession. We scored every possession. All right, we were locked in from the time we walked in to the time we left. We played them like they were Notre Dame. We played them the same way. But that's what I'm saying. This game, you don't know. You don't know how hard guys play, if they took any plays off, or if the coaches have them locked in like they were playing Notre Dame on primetime television. Because it's Bethune. We're gonna win either way, and if we give up a few drives and a few possessions where they march the ball down the field, you know, we're upset, but not the same way. So, um, it's probably gonna be some people mad at this, because this is where we're at. This is where I'm at with this team. This team has to put up or shut up every week with me, every week, and I'm not gonna praise you. Go out there and dominate USF next week. Dominate them. Give me a 45-3 win against USF. Then I start praising you. Until then, I'm not even gonna say another good win. Hey, you won. Big whoop. You beat Bethune. I'm gonna say shout out to Bethune for coming and not getting beat 70-3. You put up a decent showing. All right. It wasn't 60-3. This actually the score kind of looks it's bad, but it don't look crazy. Grambling got beat 70-0. That looks crazy by Ohio State. But you look at Ohio State and say that's how after, you come off what people call a lackluster showing, even though you still won, lackluster showing, and you dominate somebody. But anyways, get in the comments. Let me know how you feel about this win. Does it mean something to you? Does it not mean something to you? Do you see USF as a threat? Did you watch the USF game? If you haven't, go watch the highlights. Go check it out. Be prepared. It's not going to be an easy one. USF is a threat. Get ready. Don't go beating the drum just yet. Not just yet. But shout out to everybody who's been tapping in. Shout out to South Coast, Cuban. We're in a new week, so you can leave that other stuff in the last week, man. Let's move forward. And you know what I'm talking about. It's all about the U right now. It's all about Miami. Shout out to Katie. I don't know where you at, but yeah, 45-3. We gotta win on the next week. Till next time, It's your player partner from the bottom of the map, and I'm out.